Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning. It is 11:20. Um, and I am late because I have an amazing healer who is so powerful and crazy and amazing. And our sessions happen often right before this. And so we finished our session, and it's funny. I started when I got on with her, she's like, "Well, what do you want to work on today?" And I was like, "You know what? I actually feel really good, and like there's nothing going wrong. I kind of want to build on this. I want to marinate in it. And so let's take it up one level." And she was like, "Fantastic! I'm just going to hold you in this space." And she did. We got to dance. She was literally taking me to dance with the cosmos. And she told me at one point she felt like she was an orchestra conductor, and she was like, "What?" And it was so just breathtaking. But it left me feeling pretty raw and vulnerable because we touched a place that I wasn't ready for. I don't know. I was ready for it clearly because we touched it, but I didn't know it was coming. So I was like raw and shaky, and I just was like, I need a minute. So I'm late because I needed to like regroup a little bit from this amazing place. And she just was like, you know, talk about being uncomfortable with your power. And I just started. I was like, oh, there it is again. Who knew that was still there? So, at one point, my foot had fallen asleep. So I shifted my body a little bit, and my left foot. And I said, okay, my left foot is trust. I said, what do I need to trust to move forward? And I asked my guides, I asked God, whatever, to show me, help me trust, help me allow, help me take the next right step, or show me what that looks like or feels like. And I didn't even finish the thought. And Sue said to me, just trust and allow. And I was like, ah, that's how, like, and that was our whole session. I would have a thought or a feeling or an experience, and she would literally call it into the space as I was having the thought. I don't know if you have a healer that holds you like this, but you need one. Truly, everybody needs a healer who can just hold their space as big and wide and loud and beautiful as it can possibly be. And frankly, I am powerful. I am the healer. I am the one who holds space. So for me to find someone who can hold space for me tells you she's a powerhouse, first of all. And also, it was the act of allowing is what took me to the vulnerable place. That's my work, that's my job, that's what I still continue to work on is that allowing and that trusting and that letting in. And it's trusting people to be able to hold my energy. And often it takes more than one person to do that, which is part of the reason that I struggle with monogamy is that one person isn't necessarily ever that for me. Um, so it was such a breathtaking experience to have her hold space for me and let me get as big and beautiful and cosmic as I wanted to be. And I think that's why I felt so raw and vulnerable because it's not necessarily a space I allow myself very often because I was told my whole life I was too big, I was too loud, I was too much, I was too emotional, I was too intense, I was too sensitive, I was too whatever the two is. I've been told it my whole life. And so I've just learned how to navigate. I've learned how to make it, and I know that seems preposterous to some of you guys. Some of you guys are like, how much more big can she get? And I was like, you don't even have a clue, actually. This is actually me modulated. So it is really, truly, most people aren't at that level and whatever. And so it's such a breathtaking experience to be held at that level. And it is what drives me to do what I do. It is what pushes me to hold space like I do. It is what makes me so passionate about this work is that I want everybody on the planet to know that feeling of being held and being okay and being who you are is 100% okay. And it's never too much or too big or too loud or too intense or too whatever. And I really truly want that for everybody. And so I got to experience it again today. And again, my hat is off to Sue Brader because she's a fucking amazing powerhouse healer. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that to have the people in my world who can hold the space like that for me. And again, if you don't have that, you need it. And I can do that for you, or I can recommend a whole cadre of healers who can do that for you. But the point is that you need to do it. Um, I don't even really have anything that I wanted to talk about today. Um, we were talking in this morning about um, creating community that we want to be in, and sometimes we have to say no to one thing in order to let the new thing come in, and sometimes there's a that in between space, and it does feel like we are sort of in that in between space right now. Excuse me, some of the old that doesn't work anymore things have fallen away and are in the process of falling away, and the new hasn't quite come in yet, so we're in this sort of like nebulous in between space. Um, and it feels uncomfortable, and most people are not comfortable with this kind of uncertainty. And so I think it has been anxiety producing, though honestly, now that Mercury is not retrograde, and now that the planets seem to have shifted a little bit, and the full moon is passing, you know what I mean, it feels like some of the intensity that we had last week has abated a little, although it is coming again. The sort of towards the end of October, by everybody's records, is potentially really heightened and powerful, and like the end of at least the last 6 months of journey, um, especially where with Pluto is shifting, and there's a lot of big deal stuff up, and the next couple of months promise to be fairly intense and unpredictable. There's a level of unpredictability that's sort of in the works. And one of my favorite astrologers is Pam Gregory, and she basically is like, you just got to breathe into it and just hold space for it and just keep coming back into your heart. Which leads me to my dear friend Jamie Chapman and I are offering a heart mapping workshop in December. It's December 3rd in person and at the Hudson Mills. And it's December 7th online. And so either way, December 7th is an evening, it's a Wednesday evening. I don't remember the time, 7 to 9 maybe. And December 3rd is Saturday morning, 10 to 12. So we're offering this heart mapping workshop where we're going to give you tools in order to both access what your heart really truly wants, and then uh, ways to keep it open. So we're going to help you really excavate what's in your heart, not excavate, like map it out, like really access what your heart is. We had this discussion this morning about being heart centered, and how when your heart is open, when you can allow, when you feel safe, when you have a safe space, that's when you can feel real connection and community and intimacy into me I see. So we're offering you this amazing mapping tool that will help you allow you access to what your heart really truly wants, and give you tools and ways to access it and keep it open. So please join us. Please join us for that, because it's going to be such an amazing course. And Jamie, if you don't know Jamie Chapman, again, I say this all the time, you need to. And so I am delighted to get to present to do this course with her. It's going to be phenomenal. Really truly. And we're keeping it very small. It's an intimate group because obviously that's an intimate work, right? So we're keeping it very small. So please join us. It'll be such an amazing day and or evening. And so I will post both of those events. I'll post them on my board. I'll post them on my actual page, and I'll post them underneath here in the comments. And I think just like as the heart mapping thing, the Pam Gregory saying our jobs right now is to really just breathe into our hearts. Really just breathe into our hearts and sit in our heart space and just open to whatever. I had a moment in my healing just a few minutes ago where I could feel it. I could feel the emotion and the even longing, right? And I just let my heart feel all of it, and I just hung my head, and once again I said, "Thy will be done," and it washed over me. Um, and it felt beautiful, and I felt so held and so present with my heart. And that's what we're being called to right now. We're being called more than ever to be in our hearts. And for some of us, that's painful. And for some of us, it's terrifying. And for some of us, it's just foreign territory. But that's really what we're being asked to do right now is to live and come from and be in our hearts. It's what our hearts want. It's what the world needs. It's actually what we're craving. And so anything that we can do to open our hearts and be heart centered and be in our heart space is what we need to do. And so the heart mapping is one of the best ways like I know to do that. There's still 3 spaces left in my chakras of happiness class. The root of happiness, which is pay what you can afford. We start on the 20th. Is that next week? I think that's next week. We start next Thursday. I'm so excited. There's 3 spots. I feel like one of them is yours. If you're hearing this message and you're called to it, one of those spaces is yours. But that's another amazing way to be in your heart space is by doing work with a tribe of people who see you and feel you and get you. And what better way to do that than this chakra class where I know I one of my superpowers is holding a safe space. I can do that and we will have this amazing class. And again, that's a great way to open your heart. I am in the process of, I have a conversation with someone tomorrow. I'm going to try to do, I know I've been threatening to do a Connect with Your Guides, working with your guides class. I just haven't found the time that I can make it work. But I have a conversation with someone tomorrow. I'm going to see what I can do to get that on the books for November because I would like to do that before the end of the year. So there's ways, there's options, um, and yeah. So whatever you can do today to stay in your heart, I encourage you to do that. One more degree. That's really all I have today. I had I went apple picking on yesterday, so I have a fridge full of apples I'm very excited about, and that's all. So have a happy Monday, and I wish you a great day, and I'll see you next week.